The Galactic Council gathered in the Grand Hall of Orevan Prime, the light of distant suns streaming through crystal panels that shimmered with every color of the spectrum. Representatives from 1,000 civilizations filled the chamber, each murmuring with unease. On the central platform, the silver crest of the council pulsed slowly, waiting to begin the hearing that no one truly wanted to attend but none could ignore. The topic was ancient, yet it had resurfaced like a ghost that refused to rest. The ban on humanity. For 5 centuries, the decree had stood unchallenged. No human ship was allowed to enter council space. No trade, no contact, no diplomacy. The words of the ban were carved into the archives of the council itself, enforced by fleets and patrols across 1,000 light years. The official reason was classified, buried so deep that even the oldest archivists whispered that they had never seen the true cause. But today, a motion had been raised to question it. Councillor Varen of the Neath Collective, a tall crystalline being whose voice rang like glass struck by wind, stood before the assembly. "We call for transparency," Varen declared, each word echoing through the chamber. 500 years is long enough. We were told humanity was dangerous, but we were never shown why. Should we live under fear forever, blind to truth? Murmurs rose from the audience. The younger civilizations, those who had never known humans personally, agreed loudly. The older races, those who remembered the wars of the expansion era, remained quiet, their eyes dim with unspoken memories. At the central dais, the Grand Arbiter spoke. "You understand what you ask for, Counselor. To reveal the record is to unseal restricted data, locked by the joint authority of all great powers." Varen's crystal form brightened with defiance. "Then let it be seen. We are a council of reason, not superstition." The Arbiter paused for a long moment. "Very well. The archive will be opened. But know this, once seen, it cannot be unseen." The hall darkened. The walls shimmered as a vast holographic projection unfolded above the central floor. It began with a timestamp older than any living delegate. Record file, incident Sol displacement. The image resolved into a fleet. Massive ships hung in orbit above a blue planet, Earth. The ships were not alien. They were human. Their hulls bore names etched in steel. Vigilant, Eidolon courage. Each was scarred. Each bore the marks of centuries of battle. The view shifted to the command deck of a council vessel orbiting nearby. A voice narrated in calm tones. "This recording is from the final day before Earth's disappearance. The council had come to enforce compliance after the Treaty of Sela was violated. Humanity refused to disarm." The footage showed the council armada, hundreds of ships, sleek and silver, surrounding the human world like a cage of light. From the human fleet came a signal. The audio translated, "This is Admiral Holt of the Terran Defense Line. You bring war to our home, but you will find no surrender here." A tense silence filled the council chamber on Orevan Prime as the footage continued. Varen tilted forward, fascinated. This was the justification? A military standoff? The Arbiter made no reply. On the recording, the council armada opened fire. Beams of pure energy struck the human ships. Entire cities on the planet below glowed white as shields collapsed. But humanity did not fall. The human ships responded, not with lasers, not with plasma, but with something unseen. Their ships seemed to blur, their shapes rippling like reflections on water. Then space itself began to twist. A tremor shook the council hall as if the ancient data still carried weight. "What is this?" one delegate gasped. "Are they bending space?" The image shifted again. Earth's orbit distorted. The blue planet began to shimmer, its oceans flashing like mirrors, its continents dissolving into mist. The council fleet panicked, retreating as gravity itself bent outward like a wave. Then, nothing. The planet was gone, not destroyed, not exploded. Gone. The human ships vanished with it, leaving only silence and an expanding field of static. Varen stared at the projection, his crystalline edges dimming. That cannot be all. Where did they go?" The Arbiter's voice was quiet. "Continue the file." The recording jumped ahead. Centuries of darkness skipped in a second. Then it resumed. Record file. Encounter Theta. 17 generations later, a council scout ship drifted near the edge of mapped space. The view from its cameras showed a dying star, its light flickering. Suddenly, something appeared. A shadow against the glare. A human ship. It was enormous, larger than anything the Council had ever built. Its surface was black and smooth, but beneath the dark plating shimmered faint blue lines like rivers of power. The scout's sensors failed instantly. A voice came through, old and calm. "You should not have come here." The scout captain, trembling, responded, "Identify yourself. This is a Council vessel under peace authority." The voice replied, "There is no peace beyond your borders. Leave." Then the signal cut. The footage zoomed in as the human ship turned away. In its wake, the dying star reignited, its collapse reversed by some unknown force. Energy readings spiked beyond comprehension. The scout recorded one final image before retreating. A fleet, hidden in the darkness beyond the star. Human ships countless in number. The hull of Audiobook Prime was utterly silent. Varen finally spoke, his tone shaken but defiant. "So they survived. That is not reason for a ban, it is reason for contact. We could learn from them." The Arbiter looked at him sadly. "You have not seen the next file." The lights dimmed again. Record file. Siege of Dalos Rift. The scene was chaos. The Dalos frontier, once the border of the Council's territory, was under attack, not by humans but by a rogue species called the Keth. Their ships poured through the rift, burning colonies and harvesting entire worlds. The Council fleet was in retreat. Then something appeared from beyond the rift. A transmission burst through every channel. "This is the Terran line. You violated the border. Stand down." The Keth ignored the message. What happened next defied all known science. The space around the rift folded into itself, swallowing the invading fleet whole. Not a single Keth ship escaped. In their place appeared a single human dreadnought. The Council fleet hailed it, desperate for aid. The dreadnought responded with silence. Then it transmitted a message, a calm recording that the Council had sealed for 500 years. "We do not seek war, but we remember. The universe burned our home once. It will not happen again. Do not come beyond the border of Sol. This is our final warning." The projection froze. The hall filled with whispers, disbelief, and dread. Varen rose again, his voice trembling between curiosity and fear. "That warning was centuries ago. Why keep the ban? If they wished harm, would they not have struck already?" The Arbiter turned toward him. "You still do not understand. There is one more record." The final file loaded. The projection changed to show a Council research fleet approaching the edge of the Sol exclusion zone, a region where no probe had ever returned. The commander's log played. Mission objective: to test the validity of the ban. "We believe humanity is extinct or withdrawn. We will proceed with caution." The ships crossed the border. Instruments began to fail. Static flooded every channel. Then from the void ahead something emerged, not ships, not weapons, a structure. It was vast, larger than planets. It glowed faintly, as if made of pure light folded into geometry that the mind could barely process. The crew whispered that it looked like a gate or a mind, or perhaps both. The commander ordered a retreat. Too late. The structure opened its surface, and within it, millions of shapes began to move. Human figures, but not as before. Their forms shimmered, part energy, part matter, their eyes bright with the cold light of stars. One of them looked directly into the camera. "We told you not to come." The image cut. The next frames showed only silence. The entire fleet, 30 ships, was gone. No wreckage, no trace. The last telemetry recorded no explosion, no destruction, only a complete absence of existence. The projection ended. The hall lights returned. No one spoke. Even Varen's crystalline form dimmed to near transparency. The Arbiter rose slowly. "That is why the ban remains. Humanity is not lost. They are beyond us now. Whatever they became after the displacement, it is no longer something the galaxy understands." A trembling voice from the assembly asked, "What are they doing beyond the border?" The Arbiter looked toward the distant hologram of the vanished Earth. "We believe they are watching." The hall erupted into quiet panic. Some demanded that the data be destroyed. Others shouted that it must be studied. The younger races were terrified, while the older ones, the few who remembered the wars, simply lowered their heads in silence. Varen stood again, though his voice was no longer steady. "You mean to tell us they have existed all this time unseen, with power that defies every law of nature, and we did nothing?" The Arbiter answered, "No. We did something once. We burned their home. The ban is our punishment and our mercy. Varen fell silent. Around him, the council's light dimmed as the session closed. The record files vanished from the air, leaving only shadows across the chamber walls. Hours later, in the quiet corridors of the archive, the Arbiter stood alone before a sealed door marked Sol Archive, Level Omega. He entered a code, and the door slid open. Inside was darkness, broken only by a faint glow from a single device, a communicator. It pulsed once every few seconds. The Arbiter approached it, hesitant, as though it could hear him. He whispered, "They wanted to see, to understand. They still don't."